identify the problem. We need to identify the data opportunities so that we can understand if we're bringing in the data scientists with the right strengths to be of value to each organization. And that's why, again, we've implemented some of these programs where we offer up our own resources within the Chief Data Office to support the interview and the hiring process. As we look at data culture, what we're really looking at is, does our culture promote and encourage data discussions? Are our leaders asking, where's the data? Are we highlighting the value that data can bring to every organization, project, and person within their respective domain? Do we have a culture where no matter what the role or the position or the daily duties are, is there an understanding of the way that data plays into their role? Because it does play into every person's role who's playing a part on, within the Department of the Air Force. And do people know where to go when a data question arises? This is a big part of why the communities of practice are very foundational to what we're trying to do, to the Department of the Air Force strategy. This is why we have these working groups where we ask for all the data talent professionals to come share their lessons learned, help us to understand how we can better equip everyone within the department in bringing on data professionals. What are the challenges that are being experienced, and what do we need to change at the top level so that we can ease, the workload at the tactical level? Do we have the right POC information when it comes to data sharing? We want to promote a culture of data sharing. And oftentimes, if there's even, a hurdle in the way to doing that, such as we don't know who the POC is for this system, that can cause people to go in a different direction, down a different rabbit hole. And we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. We want to be sure that information is published in an area that people know they can come here to have some of those questions answered. And then when we look at data resources, what we're really looking at is, are the tools, software, and systems in place? We are not responsible for building the tools, the software, and the systems, but from the talent management perspective, it is a part of ensuring that data talent and the culture is empowered to ensure that the resources are available. When our data scientists come into this organization, we've competitively hired them and secured them, and they're excited to be here. Do we have the tools that they need to be successful? Do we have training on the tools? Maybe we have a data aware citizen that, is not necessarily trying to become data advanced, but they know that there's a powerful tool. Their leadership has directed them or encouraged them to use and leverage that tool, but they don't know where to start. Making sure that there is training on just how to use the tools that we've made available are going to be really important to empowering a culture that knows how to use data, and they're not intimidated by using data, by being able to dive into a new tool and learn the skills that they need in order to perform in the roles that they're already in. We also want to make sure that policy and guidance is in place and it's accessible so that we understand what are the Department of the Air Force guidelines, operating guidelines as it pertains to data. So as each agency starts to become more clear on their data focus, they can adopt those guidelines into what they're doing. And we don't continue to have silos of excellence where we're doing really amazing things in one area and there's no awareness in another area. We want to ensure that we're leveraging these types of policies and guidelines, whatever is happening at the individual level, if we find that it's a value add to potentially everyone, those are the resources that we want to make sure are made available. As you move down there, you'll see our key success metrics include several deliverables. And again, they're more centered around ensuring these things are in place, not as much producing the document, but making sure that there's a share point for strategic data communication where we do hang templates, documentation that's necessarily, guidelines, and examples of things that each agency can implement to add value to their organizations so that, again, we're not reinventing the wheel. We want to leverage good data practices as we advocate for each agency to implement good data practices. As we move into the next phase of this, we'll start to focus on, in the operational phase, questions like, are people using data to drive decisions? In this phase, we're focused on, do people have the understanding of data to really see how it can be of value in their role today? But in that next phase, we ask, how are people using the data? How are we using it to drive decisions? Is the data that we're collecting trustworthy on a large scale? Can people rely in the data that they're seeing? And we also want to start asking questions that and measuring in ways that we can truly present the return on the investment to leadership to show what value is being increased. And we're looking at that again across our learner personas. So we may ask ourselves, how have data advanced citizens helped to increase business value in their respective roles? This will be a big question for us because there's a lot of efforts that are targeted at helping data citizens in the role that they play today to upskill their data knowledge. And the goal is for value to be gained from that. And so we want to start to measure and track what is the value that's being gained. So then we can understand better where to place additional resources in funding. We also want to ask ourselves, is our data governance boards and measures that we put in place for data governance, are they encouraging data sharing and other DoD goals to be reached or realized? Or are we still operating in silos of excellence? Are people circumventing the data governance board? Are decisions being made outside of that entity? So are things working the way that we've intended for them? So that's essentially what we're going to be looking at moving forward into the future of the Department of the Air Force Workforce Strategy. So with all that said, hopefully there's now a better understanding of where we are today, what we've been able to accomplish, which Ms. Colon was speaking about in that first slide, really is what we've been able to accomplish to date. And moving into those next two slides, really focusing on where we're trying to go in the future, what we've learned, and the things that we're thinking about that we've learned today are really important to our success and how we're going to implement that. And that's all I have.
Very good. Well, thank you, Ms. Colon and Ms. Samuel. We've got a number of questions here. First question is, where is the data role workbook located that was released in September?
So it's the DoD Data Stewardship Guidebook, and I could provide it. At this time, I'm not sure where it's housed. That wasn't produced by our team, but I can certainly share that if somebody's looking for that document. And we, within the Department of the Air Force, are currently working on an implementation of that DoD Data Stewardship Guidebook. Our governance counterparts, our governance team is working on that. So if you're a part of the Department of the Air Force, look out for the DoD or the Department of the Air Force implementation of the DoD Data Stewardship Guidebook.
Very good. Second question, where can we locate objective 3, which is to define the data resources?
Could you repeat that question?
Where can we locate objective 3, define data resources? I would presume that they're talking about a more
the
complete
tools and software. Yes. So that's part of something that Alexis and I do is we take back to our working group, and if there's a specific one that you're looking for, we're able to put our feelers out there and find out who owns it, where it's at, and bring that information back to you. Some of the platforms that we've brought to the working group thus far has been, so we have Vault demos where it's a Ask Me Anything. They do that twice a month. So for Air Force, they have things such as Trifacta, Databricks, Tableau on there. I'm not subject matter expert on this. However, that's some of the things that are on there, and we can, give your name or the link to this so that you have access to it. We've also had in our working group two other platforms, Advana, which has different tools and capabilities on there, such as data catalog, data wrangling for Trifacta, so on and so forth. And we've also had Envision and what capabilities Envision has. So if it is a platform or software that you're looking for, we can find the right person and direct them to you.
Okay, thank you. The third question is there room to bring in non-technical staff in data roles and upskill them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there room to bring in non-technical data staff and upskill them?
Yes.
So that really is the goal of the data citizen learner persona. We understand that, again, they need to be aware of data no matter what the role is, but especially if we have motivated learners who perhaps, again, are not technical, and maybe they don't play a technical role. Maybe they're a contracting specialist, like Ms. Cologne. There are still numerous opportunities to apply data skills and knowledge in a contract specialist role. And we want to ensure that those people are empowered to leverage data in ways that add value to the work that they're already doing. So that data citizen is not, we don't need them to be technical. We understand that in that learner persona, they may not be. And so our activities and our initiatives and our training courses and education will be geared at that level.
Okay, thank you. Fourth question. How can the Department of Defense compete with commercial industries on recruitment and retention of data skilled and data aware personnel?
Well, this is a question that we've asked ourselves quite often. And there are several answers to that question. And I can just tell you about some of the things that we've looked at. Ms. Cologne spoke a little about the special education identifiers, or even just education incentives, offering for master's programs and doctorate programs in education to be continued and to be supported through funding. As well as special pay incentives. We're definitely looking at that at this point. We know that pay is a major factor as it pertains to job satisfaction, but we also know that the environment is really important as it pertains to job satisfaction, making sure that people that are being recruited see that there is a career path, there's a trajectory, there are incentives in place, there are opportunities for bonuses in place, and there are also a work environment that they're going to go into where there are going to be data aware people. Our leadership is going to understand the value of the work that they're doing. And these are things that we know go farther than just pay. Being able to get into an environment where your job is valued, where the work and the knowledge that you bring is valued, not only in words, but through action, by ensuring that the colleagues, everybody that's producing data and touching data, understand how that manipulation can affect the job of the data scientist. These are things that we're thinking about as well. So not just ensuring that they know that there are opportunities for education to be paid for, there are opportunities for bonuses and pay incentives. We are currently working on a data awards program so that people their work can be highlighted and the value that they bring can be highlighted. But we're also trying to create an environment that a data scientist or data professional can come into and understand that the work is valued by everyone, and everyone is working together in order to ensure the right policies are in place so that those professionals can produce the most value and insights from the data.
Very good. Fifth question. How does artificial intelligence fit into the workforce development discussion related to data?
So artificial intelligence is really it's a tool. So that's how we would look at how it plays in. Data science is the chief focus of the CDO, of Safcio. Data science is, and AI is a highly used, and at this point, it's probably that buzzword tool that's being used within the field of data science. So we believe those go hand in hand. AI is a foundational part of what we consider data science, and we want to make sure that we're equipping our workforce to understand it in that way, that AI and data science, AI and data management, they all really do go hand in hand because they're just tools that are being leveraged in order to get the most value from the data.
Okay, thank you. Sixth question. If an organization wants to bring in data-aware personnel, what skills, certifications, or background should they look for?
Well, that would be, a question that I don't know if we can answer on just this call. We have profiles that we've set up. These are things that are, I would say, more still in discussion. We have them available. We can make them available, if someone wants to send an email. But I would say that we still have some levels of leadership in order to make that recommendation in this type of forum.
Okay. Seventh question. Is the data citizen being advocated through AFA1 personnel in training and guidance, such as MyVector and MyLearning?
Is the data citizen, I'm sorry, could you say it one more time?
Maybe the different way to say it is the data citizen concept being advocated through AFA1's personnel initiatives, which would include MyVector and MyLearning.
This is something that, while we can present today as a fully fleshed out concept, we are just getting to the point where we're working through those approvals that are going to allow for things like that to happen. So we are partnered with MyVector. We are working with that team, and we have had several discussions of what is in that platform and how it can be used for our efforts. But is the data citizen specific piece in MyVector? That's not there yet. However, that is something that is absolutely in the works. And maybe it doesn't say data citizen exactly, but there will be that pathway, because those titles are for our team to strategically measure and understand the workforce that we're trying to upskill. But my vector, they may lay it out differently, but ensuring that the pathway exists to get someone from data aware to data advanced is absolutely something we're working with them to do.
Okay, thank you. 8th question. Is Safcio looking to bake in citizen training across all specialties that receive basic military training or technical training?
Absolutely. The goal is every person, and it's not just military and civilian. We also are focused, and that's the vision of data excellence. It includes contractors as well. So the goal is for everyone to become data aware, and that does likely include some things that are going to be going out on a regular basis to ensure that that is happening and that we're able to measure the progress in that regard.
Great, thank you. 9th question. Are the assessments going to result in special experience identifiers being awarded to actively capture metrics across the force?
I believe the answer to that is yes. Yes, special identifiers are going to be used in that way.
Yes,
Okay.
and we are actually working with a core team to define what these special identifiers are.
Very good. The 10th question. Does it appear that a new military specialty or series will be created to focus on data or data management?
Okay, so there is one on data science, a new career field being developed on data science. So I'm going to start there. Data management, there's not a new career field that we know of right now that's being developed centered around data management. However, we do understand how critically important it is. So these are things that we want to work into existing initiatives, efforts. And it's also a part of data science. Some people say that data science is a subset of data management. Some people would say it the other way. AI is used interchangeably in this same way. And people have, their true blue beliefs of what came first, the chicken or the egg, data management or data science. But what we believe is that it's all intertwined, and that's what we're going to continue to advocate for. Is if you're doing data science, you've got to be doing data management, or it doesn't work. If we're doing AI, we've got to have good data science and data analytics, as well as good data management in place, because if we put garbage in, we get garbage out. And data management is that focus on the quality of what we're handing over to our data scientists. So is there a new career field being developed for data or data management specifically? The answer is no, to our knowledge. But data science, there is a new series coming out.
Very good. Thank you.
Mhm.
11th question. How are the cultural and structural barriers that currently prevent broad adoption of a data-empowered workforce being addressed?
Well, in several different ways, and I'll also let Ms. Cologne, answer this if she would like. But in several ways, and we believe from the top down. So we really are looking at our leadership. We want to start from the top and understand that it has to be the goal of our leadership to ask the questions, because we understand that our personnel, our practitioners, and our data citizens are responsive to their work roles. So we want to start building good data practices into position descriptions. We want to start, and that's a part of the culture, a shift, is making sure that these things are a part of the expectation of our data citizens and all data personnel, making sure that leadership is asking the question, where is the data? When we go to make decisions, where is the data? Having all decisions tied to some sort of data, we know is going to have that trickle down effect, because it's going to require our practitioners to be in place, and it's going to require our data citizens to enable those data scientists and data management professionals to be successful. And so at every level, we are looking at what we can do to create a culture that empowers it. And one of our biggest beliefs is that that starts with just the question being asked. And so there are things that we're strategizing about how to actually ensure that that happens. And so I won't dig into that, because there are some things that are still not finalized, but I would say that's our approach, is looking at every learner persona and saying, how can we ensure that this group understands their responsibility to empower a culture of data? Because every learner persona, they have a responsibility to empower it, including data citizens, including practitioners. We expect our practitioners to educate the workforce on data practices, methodologies, just good quality data, how to produce data. So our leaders, we want to ask the question. Our practitioners, we want to help empower through training and mentorship. And our data citizens, we want to help as it pertains to quality and security of the data. And so those are the aspects that we're looking at this time. And again, it's not completely finalized, but these are this is really the approach that we're taking.
Very good. Well, that concludes all of our questions. Ms. Colon, Ms. Samuel, thank you so much. This has been an outstanding presentation and really shows a lot of the time, effort, and strategic planning that's gone into the development of the capabilities that are being presented here. And I would heartily recommend that if any of our meeting attendees or those who could not attend but will later hear this presentation online, they should reach out, make contact with Safcio, and in particular Ms. Colon and Ms. Samuel, because they will be able to provide you not only with follow-up information, but be able to address some of the questions that you may be formulating but have not yet asked. Now, with that in mind, I'd like to let you know this concludes today's Innovation Connect meeting. Our next Innovation Connect is scheduled for the 4th of November. And the presentations for next month's event will highlight the Secretary of the Air Force's Concept Development Management and the Joint Special Operations Command. I'd like to thank you all for taking this time to attend today's program. I'd also like to thank Ms. Ty Daniel and Ms. Callie King, because they are the brains and power behind this presentation, bringing this up to you all, and they deserve much credit for that. Since our inaugural Innovation Connect in August of 2020, we've had significant participation and attendance in each of our monthly events, and I do want to thank you all for that. Videos of this event and other Innovation Connect events will be published on the Department of Defense's Air Force CDO YouTube page. For more information on future events and registration, please follow our LinkedIn and Twitter accounts. If you have an excellent idea for an Innovation Connect topic, please send your recommendations to Ms. Ty Daniel, and her team will review your proposal. We look forward to seeing you again next month. And again, thank you for your time and attendance.